Hi. So throughout history, the world has been rocked with debacious competition among giants. David and Goliath, Newton and Einstein, Federer and Nadal, Messi and Ronaldo, and even more recently, Apple and Samsung. The skyrocketing of data generation in recent years has accelerated the implementation and adoption of deep learning applications, and this has also produced two competing giants. Tensorflow and Pytorch have been at the forefront of this challenge, providing tools to developers for the implementation of deep learning applications with ease. However, considering the variety of tools that these giants have, selecting the right framework for your needs can be very challenging, especially for beginners. So, to help you with this, today we are going to discuss the features, advantages, and disadvantages of PyTorch and TensorFlow comparatively. Hello everybody, my name is a dump engineer and I specialize in demystifying data engineering. So first of all, let's start by answering the question, who are these fellows? PyTorch is a popular deep learning framework based on the Torch framework. It was launched by Facebook in 2016 and is now maintained by the PyTorch Foundation. Due to its focus on usability and performance consideration, PyTorch has over the years become a very popular tool in the deep learning research community. TensorFlow, on the other hand, is also a popular open source end-to-end deep learning framework. Google launched it in 2015 and it is widely used in production environments. It is known for its static computational graph, efficient deployment capabilities, and production-grade features. So to choose between PyTorch and TensorFlow, we need to know how these frameworks compare in terms of different features. In this video, we'll be interested in comparing PyTorch and TensorFlow based on 4 different indices. One is flexibility, another is popularity, the other is ease of use, and finally, community support. If you may wish to know, we've already compared PyTorch and TensorFlow based on other features. So if you need to see that, please check our page, you'll see the video on that. Alright, let's start with the first indices, ease of use. PyTorch is designed for user friendliness. Due to its Pythonic syntax, it is easier to learn for a beginner who already knows Python. It also allows us to make changes to the model, experiment, and debug deep learning models quickly as it uses dynamic computation graph. On the other hand, TensorFlow has a steeper learning curve. Due to the verbose syntax, you need to write a lot of code even to build a simple neural network. But let me give you a trick. Instead of TensorFlow, if you use Keras, a high-level API for TensorFlow, you might find it easier to write the code. However, I must still say that experimenting and debugging is still hard with TensorFlow as it uses static computation graphs. Next, we look at flexibility. PyTorch allows us to change the neural network behavior on the go as it uses dynamic computation graph, as I said earlier. Suppose you are working in an environment where you want to start with a simple model and keep adding functionalities to create more complex models. In that case, PyTorch is a go-to framework allowing iterative model architectures. TensorFlow, on the other hand, takes a more structured approach to building neural networks using static computation graph. With TensorFlow, we must define the entire model architecture before running the code. If you want to make any changes to a neural network, we have to run the whole code from the scratch. Therefore, we can say that TensorFlow lacks the flexibility offered by PyTorch. Then we have popularity. Due to its Pythonic syntax, researchers and academics find it easy to use PyTorch to experiment with and demonstrate the deep learning concepts. Because of this, PyTorch has gained much popularity among researchers and academics alike. For instance, if you look at the papers we code, which is basically a website that keeps track of the creation dates of repositories related to research papers on machine learning and deep learning topics, PyTorch's use in implementing research papers has increased from 51% in September 2020 to 59% as of the time this reel was made. In the same period, the use of TensorFlow for implementing machine learning and deep learning research papers decreased from 10% to 2%. Alternatively, TensorFlow is more popular among the developer community. TensorFlow's popularity among developers has also been fueled historically by the unavailability of robust deployment tools for machine learning models in PyTorch. However, PyTorch has tried to fill this gap with tools like Pytorch Serve, Pytorch Mobile, and Pytorch Live, which might lead to its popularity among developers too over time. Next, we look at documentation and community support. Pytorch has a large community of researchers and academicians, along with the extensive document. Pytorch has a large community of researchers and academicians. Along with extensive documentation and an active developer forum, there is also an abundance of third-party learning resources, online courses, and projects that you can use to learn Pytorch concepts or clarify doubts when needed. Tensorflow, on the other hand, has a larger and more established developer community than Pytorch. It also has a lot of learning materials, online courses, books, projects available that make it easy to learn TensorFlow, even though TensorFlow has a steeper learning curve than Pytorch. Libraries like the TensorFlow on Spark, the Spark Flow, and Elephas also exemplify the extensive participation from individual developers and organizations alike to stimulate TensorFlow adoption among developers. So now the question is, which ban will you roll with? Is it ban Pytorch or ban TensorFlow? We'll see in the next video.